No. All right. I'm gonna trade you 2 sheep for that wood. Tell me, honey, does that sound good? 'Cause all I really wanna do is take away longest road from you, yeah. Welcome to these tabletop sessions. Welcome to these tabletop sessions. Hello, fellow gregarious geeks and gamers. Welcome to the 18th episode of the Tabletop Sessions Podcast, where we talk about all things tabletop related that have been occupying the hearts and minds of this international group of gamers over the course of the last 3 weeks. My name is Elias, and with me this week, live from 3 separate continents, it's TTS Live! Just kidding, we're too terrified to do this live, but say hi, guys.
Hi, Dima here from Toronto.
Привет is народження Elias, which in Ukrainian it means hello and happy birthday Elias.
And I'm Byron.
And I'm a big boy now.
Yes, you are.
I'm finally the same age as my wife. That will only be the case for a couple of months. It's her favorite couple of months in the year when I can't say that I'm younger than her. So,
Thanks for bringing this up to all our listeners.
That's okay. We don't have that many listeners.
Still, this is public knowledge now.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, we're recording on my birthday, but you know, I'm a trooper. We go through. We don't take we continuing what we did last time. Hashtag no days off. You know what I'm saying?
No,
days off.
I take a day off on my birthday.
Just to depress you right away, on a very sad point, Byron has decided to start off the conversation with this. So let's depress everyone straight away. Go ahead, Byron.
Oh, I thought I was hoping that you would. But
Oh, did you just highlight it green so that I would do it?
He was hoping you could depress everyone on your birthday.
You're the news guy, Byron.
oh, that's true. So Chad Jensen, beloved board game designer of Dominant Species and a few other GMT games, passed away after his long battle with cancer this week.
That's really sad news.
Yeah.
We're big fans of Chad.
Yes, we are.
Especially Dominant Species is one of our favorite games. I know he also did Advanced Squad Leader and a few other very much loved and admired game designs. And my heart's with his family. And we've lost a great one, guys. And if you are a fan of heavy games and you don't know about Chad Jensen's games, I could not recommend him more.
Mm-hmm.
And, rest in peace. Ippo, you know you're a big fan of his designs as well.
Everybody leaves something behind when he leaves this world. I think this guy left a lot in the board gaming community. And Dominant Species will always remind him to us.
And I always say this, other than being one of my top 10 games, Dominant Species is the best rule book that I've ever read. And I believe he wrote that. And because I know GMT didn't do it because
Considering the right rules.
They're trash for the rule books. But it's literally one of the clearest, most concise. I mean, such a heavy game that I literally just read through the rule book once. And I was like, all right, I know how to play. And then never had to check it ever again.
Yeah.
And really that says a lot about the guy and his designs. And, you'll be missed. You'll be missed. And thank you for all you've done, Chad. And my condolences to his family and his loved ones. So.
I'm not really sure how to move on to the next topic, but here we go. So
Hopefully,
this is.
I have a way. Hopefully, in the paradise there are, green fields.
Oh my god! I have a way better way of doing this, guys. The best way that we can commemorate Chad Jensen is to celebrate board gaming and the hobby that he loves. And speaking of that, let's go ahead and talk about what we've been playing recently. Dima?
Thank you, Elias.
That was really better.
Yes, I agree. So recently, Ipo and I
Paradise
played.
is the green fields.
He was trying to be positive.
Oh my god, it's too funny.
So speaking of paradise and green fields, Ipo and I played La Granja last week. I had played it a couple of years ago with Elias. We've owned it for a few years now. It's by Michael Keller, Andreas O.D. Odenhall, published by Spielworks in 2014. So La Granja is basically a farm that you're managing, and you're growing resources like olives, grapes, wheat, and you have your animals that you're catering to, and then you need to balance between production and consumption of the goods you're producing. It's also an area management game, so when you're selling your products to the village, there's a bit of area control there, so the first player that gets there can then be pushed off the board by other players that come in later, and you get points for that. It is a heavy Euro, but there is player interaction, which I like, which is not very common in Euro, where you can actually remove other people's pieces off the board. So La Granja...
It's funny that you didn't remember if there's wine that we're growing or something else. And I was trying to help you, but I couldn't remember also. And and I was thinking the game, it's not so thematic to make you feel like you're really doing this. I mean, it's a great game.
Yeah.
But it's not really like farming, right?
I agree. And I think the main thing that causes that is they use the same tokens to represent everything, right? So the little cylindrical tokens represent trade goods and grapes and wine and pigs and market stalls. And I think because of that, you have a harder time remembering what it is exactly that you're selling at the market or that you're producing and sending to one of the trade buildings, you know?
I agree.
Byron, this is one you've played as well, but we played a 4-player. Now, my big thing with La Granja is that I think it is best at 2 players. BGG says it's best at 4. But when I played with you, Byron, Ipo, and Diego, I genuinely did not enjoy the game. I just felt it took too long to get back to my turn. I felt like it was too fiddly. I felt like people were not able to keep track of what was happening. And I just didn't enjoy it at all. So when I played it 2 players again after that, I sort of reiterated to myself, oh yeah, it's a magnificent 2-player game. But what did you think of your 4-player game, since that's your only experience of that game?
So I had a completely opposite experience than you did. I loved it at 4. I felt the interaction was great, and everyone was doing something, and it wasn't a terrible experience at all. Maybe you could have felt it was a bit finicky because turns do take a while to get back to you. But apart from that, I think the market actions are quite fun, with the incremental numbers and all that stuff.
Sure. Yeah, no, I think what it was maybe because I was running the game, because I taught the game.
Yeah.
I had to be there on everyone's turn to be like, all right, this is what you do. This is how you do that. And it just kind of felt like I kept repeating myself. I kept doing tiny little actions for everyone.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the same game? Because if I was there, and I remember one game we played 4 players.
You were.
You said I didn't enjoy the game. I would say that this is an understatement. I hated the game.
Exactly.
And
I'm with you.
And Byron says that so everybody was doing something. I was doing probably something else, like playing with my phone or something. It was so boring. Maybe I don't.
Did you feel the same way in the 2-player game, Ipo? Did you also feel like it was long?
Completely, no, it was an excellent game. I mean, even with 4 players, I could see that the mechanics are there to make a great game.
Mm-hmm.
But it was taking so long. Okay. To be honest, it was our first game. Maybe nobody knew the game. Maybe it took us so long to see what to do because you have many options in every turn in this game. And we played it again after, 2 years?
No, I played it a ton. I just didn't play it with you
Yeah.
because I wasn't sure if my reason I didn't enjoy it with 4 players was because it was 4 players or because it was you and Diego, who are 2 of the people that take the longest turns in terms of. So I wasn't sure. So I kind of avoided playing with you guys specifically. And I'm not going to lie. Like, as a 2-player game, it's one of my top 50 games. Like, I think it's phenomenal. It's just really like I suffered with it at 4. But Byron has a different experience. So I guess it's up to you. I guess it's how much does the finicky nature bother you? And how worried are you about not having anything to do until it's your turn again?
Yeah.
Because for me, that's the major thing with the Granja is turns take forever because there's a lot of little things you have to do, especially when people don't know how to play. So at a 2-player game, it really doesn't take that long to come back to you, and you always feel like you're involved. But at 2 players, it's one of the best games I've played, and it's my favorite farming themed game that I've played.
One of the aspects of the game that I love is that the cards on all 4 sides of the cards, you have different things you can do. So the top part aspect of the card is like selling things to the market. The left is different resources. The right is other resources. And the bottom is specific abilities. And when you play the cards, you decide which side of the card you want to use. And I think that part of the game adds a lot of time because you play the card right after you restock your hand. So it's not like this is something you can think about while you're waiting for other people to play their turns. So I think that might add time to the game.
That and the deliveries were a big deal.
Yeah.
So like when people were deciding what deliveries to make, I remember just feeling complete exhaustion just trying to keep up with all 4 players. Whereas when I played just me and you, Dima, which we've played it 6, 7, 8 times, I really enjoyed because I just think about my puzzle because the game's an excellent puzzle. And the only real luck factor in the game is what cards you draw into your hand.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's no luck factor in the game.
And even then, you can have a hand of up to 5 or 6 because you can increase your hand. So
True. Yeah.
Luck doesn't even factor in
Do you
that
guys
much.
feel that with 2 players, you need one more? Like when I was playing it 2 players, I was feeling maybe the game is not made for 2 players.
The interaction on the middle board was light, let's say.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The market board becomes less valuable at 2 players, but that's my least favorite part of La Granja. My favorite part of La Granja is the farm management. And the farm management aspect becomes less interesting the longer you have to wait between turns. So it's got some problems, but for me personally, it just works really well at 2 players. I don't mind that there's less aggression on the market board. I still feel like there's enough there. And the part that I truly enjoy in the game really shines at the lower player counts. Maybe the best spot is 3. I don't know. I've only played it 2 and 4. So might be worth trying at 3 players.
Yeah, one puzzle aspect of the game that I really like is like balancing production versus consumption. Because when it comes time to production, you haven't used up your resources, you're capped. You can't add any more. So I really like that punishing aspect of the game. It really makes you feel like you want to be more efficient in your decisions.
All right.
So that's La Granja by Michael Keller and Andreas O.D. Odenhall.
So Elias got some interesting news the other day.
Insider info.
It seems a group of gamers is trying to remake Sekigahara, but as a new theme, War for Granada.
Yeah, I don't think they're remaking it. They've sort of said it's the same system as Sekigahara. So this guy in Spain got in touch with me, and he was like, listen, I see you really love Sekigahara, the unification of Japan, which is one of my favorite games. And he said, we're doing a war game in the same system, but with a theme which is based around Al-Andalus and the last Muslim kingdom in Spain, which is Granada, which is after the Reconquista starts and sort of the Christian city-states like Toledo and these guys start taking over. Granada is the last place left, which is under Moorish control. And they're publishing it with Compass Games. I'm very excited to try it, like, because it sounds like Sekigahara, but at the same time, the idea of being like one surrounded by many also gives me like States of Siege, sort of like Zulus on the Ramparts or Cruel Necessity feelings. So just thematically, I feel like you have that in there. I love that whole theme. And this is really early because this game's not even got a BGG page yet. So if you are at all interested in the theme, or you're interested in Sekigahara as a system, this is definitely one to keep an eye on, which is it's currently called, check it out. I believe it's called Granada, The Last Stand of the Moors. And then the dates, which are I can't remember.
It was 1482 to 1492.
Yeah, that's it. 1482 to 1492. So yeah, check that out if that's interesting to you. Ippo, have you played you played Sekigahara with me, right?
Yeah, I played it online.
Yeah.
I think in yukata.de.
Oh, that was not a good experience. No.
And I hated it because
it's a horrible software. Yeah.
In general, online gaming can ruin a game for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I ruined Civilization for you guys.
For sure, yes.
And
Without a doubt.
and that happened to me, I think, with Sekigahara.
Yeah. Well, Dima and Byron, I think, have both played the real version with me. And I think they probably had better experiences than you. So, do you guys like Sekigahara?
I like Sekigahara. I don't like playing it with Elias, but I do like playing Sekigahara.
I second what Byron said.
Okay, just make me seem like a bad person.
To elaborate, the game is. I like how simple and straightforward the game is for a war game. A lot of the GMT games are super complicated and require a lot of time for Elias to explain the game to me because I don't read rule books. But Elias is usually really good at war games, and so because he consistently beat me and Byron, we are both sore losers, and we decided that we don't want to play 2-player board games with Elias anymore.
Yep.
But as a game, it's I really liked the movement, the battles, the way the cards interact with the tiles on the board.
Yeah.
It's a very
the thing about Sekigahara is it's very delicate because like you said, there's a simple rule set, but the beauty in the game comes in the impact combat system, which is how you group certain types of blocks together and combine that with what you have in your hand and sort of use them at the right time so that the hands and the blocks sort of multiply with each other to make you super impactful in combat.
Very elegant system, yeah.
It's very elegant. So I'm wondering if this game will have that, because if it has that elegance, then I'm in. I'm all in. So I've contacted him because he wanted some help with some translation stuff. So I've contacted him. I helped him out, and I asked him, where we can get a copy and stuff. So I'd be really interested to play this game and report back to you guys. But this is just something for the 2-player block war game fans out there, or any history buffs that are interested in the Moorish invasion of Al-Andalus and the Reconquista following that. So yeah, there you go.
The designer said it's not exactly Sekigahara. It's just based on Sekigahara. Because otherwise, I would like to ask you guys: would you think that Sekigahara in another theme is a thing that the board gamers would need? Like, would you buy a Sekigahara game with just a different...
I would never buy the same game
historical
with a different theme.
Background?
I would buy a game with a slightly different mechanism if it changes a bit. So like, for example, if you see a game like Few Acres of Snow, and then they've also released another version of it, which is based on the Punic Wars, Hands in the Sea. And it's a different designer and different publishing company. Apparently, there's enough difference in the game to really enjoy both ways. But if it's just A Few Acres of Snow, the exact same thing, but they changed it from the American-Canadian War, then I'm not so interested in that game. I'm not interested at all. Like, I have one of them. It's enough. Unless I really love the theme, then I would just buy that copy and not the first one.
Is that what they did with Terra Mystica?
Yeah, but they changed enough of the game that apparently people are enjoying owning both Gaia Project and Terra Mystica.
Okay.
I mean, you do have games where they just change the theme, and I usually won't switch along with that. So, like Dune, they created Rex, and I love the Twilight Imperium universe, but I love the Dune universe more. And so I stuck with my copy of Dune, my old copy of Dune. I didn't really grab that Rex copy. So either I have to absolutely love the theme, and in that case, I would replace it, not have both, or they have to change it enough that there's different strategy and tactics in the game, and then I'm happy to own both. Oh, there you go. That's Granada, The Last Stand of the Moors. Check it out.
So, guys, just a couple of years after Elias's birthday, Soviet Union was dissolved, and that's our next game. We played Twilight Struggle with a friend of mine, Basil. I don't know if you remember him, guys.
He's the guy Eugenio completely shit on in that episode.
Yes, he's famous now.
He's very sensitive about it, so we like to bring it up as much as possible.
Yes. So apparently we played 3 games in a row of Twilight Struggle, which is a game it's a very famous game, but I guess some of our listeners might not know the game. So it's about the Cold War. It's a 2-player game. One player has the Soviet Union, and the other player plays the United States of America. It's an area control game. You're trying to influencing the countries of the world, and it's a card game. So in every phase, each player has 8 cards. You play 1 card, the other player plays the card. And you have 2 options that remind me the coin system. Because you can either play your own cards and do the operations that are depicted on the card, or you can play the opposite superpower cards, and again you can do the operations for your country, but the event for the other superpower is now activated. So you win something, and at the same time you lose something. This is a mechanism that made people crazy, super fans back in the 2000s, and that was the reason that Twilight Struggle reached the number 1 in Board Game Geek. I think it was right before Puerto Rico, right after Puerto Rico. Right after Puerto Rico. So Twilight Struggle is a game designed by Ananda Gupta and Jason Matthews, published by GMT Games in 2005. Okay, so it was close enough. And it stayed in the number 1 of BGG for 5 years, longer than any other game before or after, except Puerto Rico.
That's insane.
I have played this game 10 times online, and I loved it, even online. Yesterday I played it with a board and everything, and I realized that the board is huge. I mean, you really need a big table for this game. I don't know why is it so big. I mean, okay, I appreciate it now that I'm getting older and I cannot read clear enough. But it was really, and we played it in a cafe.
Oh, so wow.
And people were passing by and they were asking, guys, what are you playing? And we're saying, okay, we're playing a game about the Cold War, and everybody was interested. So the theme is so amazing. Everybody's interested in this theme. Everybody, okay, should I say everybody above 30 years old that remember that time of the Cold War. What do you guys think?
I mean, I'm above 30. I don't remember the Cold War. I don't think any of us here remember the Cold War other than you, Ipo.
When did the Cold War end?
It was cold, yeah.
Well,
1992.
Yes, with the... Okay, anyway, never mind that. The only thing that kept it in my collection as long as it did was the theme. I love the theme, and I like the cards a lot, the event cards. It doesn't remind me of the coin system. It reminds me of like Virgin Queen, which is all the card-driven game, the card-driven system, which all started with the first edition of We the People, which I think is a Herman game. And I think the basic concept is you play a card for the event or you play a card for the operational points in the top. And that's the system that is there, which is the same system in Virgin Queen and so on. I really love the look of it. I love the way it plays. I love the giant board. It's so good. The reason I sold...
There is only...
What?
Sorry, I was going to say, you're going to say there is only one problem.
No, the reason I sold the game to you, Ipo, is because of one critical thing, is the way the dice works. So...
Exactly.
So, in many games, you get to roll dice and then you get to make the decision based on your results. And this one, you say, oh, I'm going to try to do, what are they called? Revolutions or there's two kinds.
Realignment rolls.
Yeah, realignment
coups,
and coups. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. So you decide you're going to do a realignment roll or a coup, and then you roll and you're like, well, I guess I succeeded or I guess I failed. And I never like games where strategically you have to make decisions and then roll a dice and then just see if your strategy worked just because of the luck of a D6 roll. I always hate that. I don't mind it so much in combat systems, and I don't mind it so much in multiplayer games where negotiation has a big aspect like Twilight Imperium or Virgin Queen, but I mind it a lot in two-player games. Like, it's literally just me against you. It's not like I'm going to temporarily get you on my side whilst luck works itself out. No, I'm coming at you and you know I'm coming at you. And what's determining whether I succeed or not is a D6. And so because of that, I never got the desire to bring it back out. And that's why I sold the copy to Ipo, which I'm super glad he played 3 times in a row. I mean, it's a great game and it deserves to come out, but goddamn, like 3 times in a row. Like,
how long was each game?
Yeah, Basel lost very quickly in the first 2 games. I have to say.
I would say you have an unfair advantage playing 10 games before.
Yeah, but he lost all 10 games before. So
the other thing that was also true is that Basel wanted to play the United States,
which is harder for beginners.
And they have a disadvantage in their early game.
Yeah.
So I took full advantage of Stalin era, and the game ended pretty much early in the first 2 games. Yeah. In the third game, I was playing the United States, so it was longer and it was more interesting, I would say.
I remember when the last time I played it with Ricardo.
Yes.
He wanted to learn the game. I taught him how to play. And I realized that whenever I would just do realignment rolls or coups in Portugal, he would spend the next God knows how many turns just trying to win Portugal back because he's Portuguese. So he got personally attached to the game. So while he was doing that, I just slowly took over the Middle East everywhere, scored it twice, had domination there, and won the game like super quickly. And it was just really funny to see someone bring in their personal nationality and politics into the game. Because usually you look at it like chess, but with dice, which is, shit. So
yeah, Basel yesterday didn't want to play the Russians.
Yeah, because the guy is all about America, So
yeah, I mean, it's so funny. I mean,
these crazy nationalists.
But I want to say, yeah, I agree. Everybody knows I hate dice, especially when it's so dominant and can make a real difference in a game. I will give to this game the benefit of doubt, I would say, by saying that you're gonna roll enough dice that it's gonna even out in the end, maybe.
Yes, but if you're rolling for Guam, it's not as valuable as if you're rolling for Berlin, right? So when your luck hits is a big deal in the game. So yeah.
So would you recommend this game? Is this something you enjoy playing, or do you feel that the dice
the guy
remove
played
it
it
from the
3 times
strategy?
in a row, man.
Yeah.
I know Basil, it was his first time, like maybe his first time in a long time, maybe. So
no,
he was
I
just
love
getting
the game,
warmed
but
up.
at the same time, I see the flaws that Elias is explaining. Yeah,
I think it's a great game. I just think it shows its age. I think there are better 2-player options out there, but like the theme is phenomenal, and it looks great. And honestly, the cards are so well thought out. I really enjoy the way the cards play off of each other, and how certain cards are only valuable if other cards have already come out, and some become so valuable if you've already placed something else out. Like there's a whole thing with the Marshall Plan, and it's just great. It's a good.
I
And
agree.
how thematic the cards are.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I loved reading the cards. That was my favorite part of playing. That's one of the few things I remember from the game. And I like that it sways in one person's favor versus another over time. Like you push each other back and forth. I didn't feel like it was like all of a sudden you just realized that you lost the game. In a few acres of snow, I felt like it was harsher when I lost.
That was 100% on you, woman. Like,
Twilight
me-
Struggle.
you saw me
I felt
stalking
like
military.
I lasted longer.
You're like, I wonder if he's gonna attack. Why has he got all these cannons in his reserve? Because I'm gonna attack you. Oh man. Anyway,
I think Byron played the same people as me in A Few Acres of Snow, no? And then you did the same thing with him?
listen, we'll talk about that later. Anyway,
Anyway, guys, Twilight Struggle is a very good game. There might be a better two-player game out there. Our listeners will know in about 30 minutes. So that was Twilight Struggle.
all right, that's awesome. Thank you. A game that we've all been sort of obsessing about. Well, Byron, not Byron, but Ipo, me and Dima specifically, has been Pax Renaissance. The heaviest of the Pax series, by Phil Eklund and Sierra Madre Games. Now, I've been terrified of this game. I bought it more than a year ago, and I just tried to read the rulebook and just gave up so many times. It's in really tiny font, and your eyes just cannot. It's not just the font, but it's really heavy stuff being discussed, and it's just really hard. So, Ipo, before we left Qatar and to move to Toronto, Ipo had just come back from Greece, and we decided we're gonna spend some time and figure out how to play this game. So Ipo and I literally just sat there and we watched 2 entire playthroughs of the game, and then we kind of understood it at that point.
Yeah.
And then Ipo sort of read the rule book. I watched another few videos, and then we're like, all right, we're gonna do this. So Dima, Ipo, and I sit down, and we bang out a game, our first game of Pax Renaissance. And the way we played was sort of discussing openly our strategies so that people would understand what options are on the table. I think that was a very valuable thing we did. After that, me and Ipo played it one-on-one, and I've played it since with Dima one-on-one. So I've played the game 3 times now, which for a normal game might be enough to review it. But for Pax Renaissance, with the level of depth we're talking about here, I need about 30 more before I can start discussing all the strategies available in the game. But I do feel like it's something worth talking about. It's by Phil Eklund and Matt Eklund, his son, published by Sierra Madre Games in 2016, has a weight of 4.31 on BGG, which if you know anything, you know that's really heavy.
Wow.
It's a game about being Renaissance banking families. So the Medicis, the Fuggers, I can't remember the other ones. Basically, you're extending your influence across Europe by pushing the world towards, pushing Europe towards the condition you want to push it towards, which is, do you want it to be Catholic? Do you want it to be Protestant or Muslim? Do you want to manipulate the trade affairs that happen in the West and the East? You want to manipulate the political state? You want a Renaissance? Do you want republics? You want an age of empire and kings? Whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, it's there in this game. And you're just trying to manipulate it using your money, pushing left and right on royal families and making the world what it is. It's the same theme as Virgin Queen, sort of. Virgin Queen is that without the bankers. It's the royal families. This one is like where the money comes in. So in the game, it has the same sort of system as other PAX games, which follows the market system. But in this case, there's 2 markets. There's the North Market and the West Market. And you're buying cards from there, and you're affecting different things. When you play a card, there's a one-shot on it. You do that. There's so many one-shots. And the best way to do it is sort of learn them as they come up on your first play. Once you play cards, they enter your tableau, and you're able to activate the operations, the ops on the cards, either by activating the east or west side of your tableau. There's so many other things you can do. There's marriage, there's jihads and religious wars, there's peasant uprisings, there's building up repression in kingdoms to cause people to rise up. There's creating votes to create republics. Oh man, there's so much in this game. And it's a tiny little box. And that's where I want to talk about the best things about this game. It is a tiny box. I mean, it's the size of, I don't know, what's the equivalent? Size of Arboretum, or just like that, like a game with like a deck of cards and a couple other things.
Yeah, like where words, trap words, like all those party games.
Exactly. But the depth in this game is just stunning. It's so deep. It's also not a very expensive game, at least when I bought it. I'm not sure what the availability is now, but I paid like 30 something bucks for it. And it's a small thing that literally fits in my backpack. It doesn't take up a lot of table space. We played it here at the Airbnb, and it took up half of our little 3-person table. It's just stunning, the depth you get per square inch of table space. Another amazing thing about it is
the depth per square inch.
I mean, it's a thing. The other thing is the gameplay length. So at 3 players on our first play, it took an hour and a half. And on every 2-player version, it's taken less than an hour that we've played. So, I mean, that's an amazing thing. Like such a deep game that you feel the depth that only takes an hour or less. Ipo?
I'm gonna say it's the more depth you can get per second.
That's right.
Since you said per square inch, I would say per second also.
If you look up
there's no other game.
The function of depth per second per square inch, you can never beat this game.
There's no other game with such a depth that you can play in 1 hour or in 1 hour and 30 minutes.
Can you convert that to the metric system?
No, this is Europe in the Renaissance. We don't use metric. So another thing that's amazing is I think as a 2-player game, it's absolutely stunning. So as a 3-player game, we sort of played it. I won the game, and in the end, like both the Dima and Ipo were sort of trying to figure out how to stop me. And it didn't bother me at all. But if you don't like to feel targeted when you're winning a game, that might be something to look out for. It is the duty of the other players to stop you from winning. Because the way the game works is there's 4 possible victory conditions. When these comets come out, you select the comets and you get to flip over one of the 4 victory conditions. And that victory condition now becomes an active way to win the game. Multiple of them can be flipped over. Once you achieve it, one of your 2 actions in your turn has to be to claim victory. So it's not easy. Everyone knows what you're going for. And they see the ways to stop you right there on the board. And they can team up and help each other to plug away at your strength to be able to stop you. So that's one negative, is if you're sensitive to that, other people actively trying to stop you from winning, that's there. I don't mind that at all. But what I will say is that a 2-player version, you sort of expect that. Every 2-player game is about stopping the other person from winning while you're trying to win. And it is so deep. It is so deep. Like, I remember I was playing with Ipo, and he was winning on, he had more kingdoms than I did, and he had the more influence in Islam, which was the dominant religion at the time. But I just kept irritating him and stopping him from winning. Like, I would save up and grab the comet, and I would flip over Renaissance victories, which are based on republics and laws, which he didn't have. Or I would flip over I would go for the other. I got 2 comets in a row before he got any, and I picked the 2 winning conditions that he didn't have a chance to get. And he was so dominant in the other 2 regions. He won in the end, but he didn't even realize that the game had naturally created a situation where I could have just caused a peasant revolt I was 1 cube away, basically 1 concession away from causing a peasant revolt in Portugal. And when I did that, I would have won the game in terms of one of the victory conditions that was already flipped over. And the game is so deep that he didn't even realize that was happening, because he just realized that I was trying to stop him from winning. But in the meantime, I was sort of plugging away, trying to get my way there. And whilst I didn't accomplish it, I always felt like I had a chance. And that should tell you the level of complexity in the game. Depending on the order in which cards come out, it gives you so many different options and so many different paths to take. And it's really something special to look at it and see a tapestry of different paths and deciding which path to take. It's art. Like, it feels like art when the game itself is painting a different picture every time. Now that I've finished gushing about it, I will say there's a couple things I don't like. One of them, as I told you before, if you are sensitive to being targeted, don't play this game. Secondly, well, maybe you should, because Dima's usually sensitive to this stuff, and she doesn't seem to mind it in this game. The other thing is I hate one of the ops called the beheading op. So it's an op which just lets you kill another card in a tableau that matches the location of that card. But the card could literally just be the east or the west, so you could kill any card you want in that region. The reason I don't like it, whilst all PAX games have a way of killing other cards, like in Pax Porfiriana, you can send a posse or an army or whatever, but it gives you a chance to defend it. You could bring in your own army to defend it, and when you do that, it'll stop someone else from taking it. There's no way to defend against this beheading unless you use a beheading of your own to remove their card. So it was the one thing where I felt like, oh, okay, I don't have a chance to defend against this. So I didn't like that particular op. Maybe I'll feel better about it in the future. But that being said, it did allow Ippo to stop me from winning for a couple of rounds the first time we played. So there is value to it. And the main thing that is a problem with this game, it's a fucking bear to learn and to teach. Like I told you, we had to watch, shout out to Heavy Cardboard, because without them, we'd never have played this game. We watched both their playthroughs. It's just absolutely a stunning game in its scope. And after learning and teaching it, like it's not something I want to do. But in its credit, I hadn't played this game now in like almost a month. And I was able to brush the rules up on Dima without even referencing the rule book. So it did stick in my head quite well after just 2 plays. And now after 3 plays, I feel like I could probably just teach this game from scratch. But if I ever forget the rules, it's not going to be one of those that just says, oh, it's game night. Why don't we just pull out Pax Renaissance and see how it goes? Like, I'll need a week to prep for this. So that's my main cons. It's a stunning game. After 3 plays, I cannot tell you, it's super high up on my list of favorite games of all time after just 3 plays. So, guys, what do you think of Pax Ren?
I really don't like 2-player war games because they're a lot about sabotaging the other player's strategy to win. And I get super butthurt when people ruin my game. So this game doesn't have that. Like, at least for me, I didn't feel targeted personally because you're sort of sharing the board and the pieces on the board are like fair play for everyone to use. So if you see that Islam is the dominating religion on the board, you can get cards that like represent Islam, and then you can be in that race as well, you know? So it's not just because a player owns Portugal and Islam is dominant in Portugal or something like that, that they're going to maintain the win the whole game. So I like that aspect of the game. It reminded me a lot of Pax Pamir in the sense that the board is for everyone. The pieces are for everyone to use. And yeah, you have your kingdoms that people can take away from you. But overall, it's such a short game that you don't have time to take it personally, I felt. So I really liked how heavy it was strategy-wise. Like Ippo said, every second of it is spent like thinking about your strategy and scratching your brain. But I would really recommend it for 2-player strategic game if you want to change a bit from Euros.
I should also say it's not just a 2-player game.
Yes. Of course it isn't. But I mean, in terms of heavy strategy for 2 players, I would recommend it. For 3 and 4 players, I know you said that me and Ipo had to gang up on you, but I don't know. I didn't feel like it was personal to you.
No, it's
still.
all.
I just, in general, I feel like the game is.
I just feel like some people get sensitive to that, right? Like some people
are like,
I'm about to win. I mean, like you're ruining my experience. No, it's my job to drag your ass down when you're trying to win. Like with Ipo, like after turn 2, he basically had the winning condition. And I made him like scrap for it before he was able to get it. And I felt like at the end he deserved it. and I felt like he left the game feeling like he deserved it. And I didn't let him just have it and walk off like, oh, well done, you're so good at this. Like fucking fight for it. That's how this game works.
Yeah, I want to say that I love the game both with 2 and 3 players. I'm just checking now. BGG says that even with 4 players, it's almost equally good as with 2 players, and it's best with 3. But you guys, you covered everything, every aspect of the game. I just want to say again that I will never forget that we spent 2 full days of our lives learning the game. Like, okay, I know that the first night we fall asleep watching the playthrough, but the next morning, Byron, seriously, the next morning I was reading the rules, and then I get back to Elias and we were watching together the second play. Actually, I found him watching the second playthrough. We watched the playthrough, and then we really, I mean, there are too many rules, too many concepts in the rules, and each concept is like a special game that you need to know. There's no other way to play, because every one shot, every one-time event that it's on the card has a special way to be solved. So you need to know these things. And not only it was amazing for me that we managed to learn the game, it was also amazing that we saw Dima learning the game from us in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't expect that. I mean, I was thinking, okay, there's no way I can explain this game to Dima. And even if I can, I mean, there's no way anybody can learn the game in such a short period. But we did it, and I'm very happy and proud that we did it.
I'm proud of you too, buddy.
And now we're like the 3 only people on earth that can play this game. I don't think anybody else will have the courage or the time to spend and learn the game.
I will say, Dima and I played the game earlier today. And because Dima sort of forgot a lot of it, I was explaining my strategy to her. So I was like, okay, I've taken this Islamic bishop, which is basically an imam, and in the hope that if I can convert one of these Eastern countries to Islam with a jihad, then I can go for an Islamic victory since I already control the Ottomans. So I literally explained that to her, and she knew that. And so she knew she had to get a Catholic bishop on the board. But just the way that it worked out, I managed to time it out in a way that there was nothing she could do about it. And I got the Islamic victory. And there's a lot to be said about a game where the solution is on the board and the timing can matter to the extent that you might not get it because of what you chose to do in what order. So it's just stunning game. And it took about under 50 minutes and like 45, 50 minutes. And Dima told me, let's play it again. And I was like, oh, that's just awesome. Like, I love that. Like, I don't know. Dima is not big on like games where your job is to pull down the other person. And this game is just so stunning in its depth. And it's I don't know if it's in my top 10, but it's damn close if it isn't. But it might actually already be in my top 10. And I think about it. I think about it a lot. I think about this game an inordinate amount compared to how much I've played this game.
I'm never going to forget coming home at 11 p.m. and seeing Elias and Ipo busting out their glasses that I didn't even know they had, reading the rule book and watching the playthrough. So if you guys are planning on learning the game, bring out your glasses and get on it. Yeah.
two more things I want to say. Okay, thinking out loud in our very first game was really helpful to learn the game. And I would suggest every listener to do that if they want to play this game.
100%.
And the second thing is that I remember Elias before he was saying that one of the cons of the game is that it has a very small box,
No,
right?
that was a pro.
Yes, correct. Yeah, so it was a pro. Okay, so this pro makes the rulebook so small that you cannot read the fucking rulebook.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong about
It's
that.
tiny.
That
Like,
is a
that was
very
like
good
font
point.
7. It was bad.
All right, guys. So that was Pax Renaissance, an awesome game by Sierra Madre.
So you know how PAX fans are quite irritating. You know who are more irritating? Our Risk fans. So here's a nice bit of news for Risk fans out there. Jimi Hendrix, the great guitarist, apparently played Risk a lot on acid.
This is a Kotaku article he found, and it's marvelous. It doesn't say he played a lot. It said he was unbeatable when he was on acid. Which makes me just want to try playing Risk on acid and seeing what I could do. It's such a good article. We'll link it in the episode description. It's just awesome when you see like the greatest guitarist of all time played board games, like a rock star god. You know what I mean? That was, the crotch thrusting on the stage and groupies throwing themselves at him. Goes backstage and is like, y'all want to play Risk? So nerds are
So
nerds.
he's kind of like the Vin Diesel of D&D.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's a nerd. So I always felt like I had some kinship with Jimi Hendrix, and now I know what it was. So yeah, awesome article. So good. It's on Kotaku. We'll link it in the description. So good. On that note of badass things to do with your time, Dima's about to take us to the game show of the week, baby. Yeah. Bro, je ne comprends pas quel jeu. So you have to speak to me in Esperanto.
Okay, guys, let's do this. Welcome to With a Little Help from Esperanto.
Oh, no.
This week, I picked 10 games. I guess you guys played it really recently. Okay, so I picked 10 games. It's very simple, guys. You're going to have a great time. Your faces are so enthusiastic right now.
Is Catan one of them?
I know. So I took the title of 10 games.
Oh yeah, I think
and-
Dima, you didn't do the subtitle like I did last time.
So I took the titles of the games and I ran them through about 5 to 10 languages on Google Translate and then back to English. I'm going to tell you what came out at the other end, and you guys need to guess what the game was. Okay? Here's the thing. I'm going to read to you what the new game name is. And you guys all together are going to have 30 seconds to guess what the game is. If like one person guessed Catan, for example, and it's supposed to be Settlers of Catan, I'm going to ask everyone else to hold off and give that person the chance to complete the name because it's not fair. They guessed the game.
Actually, it's called Catan nowadays, actually.
I know. But in case I used the old version of the title, because I used games that have like titles that are 3 to 5 words, because one word is not really fun. Okay? Are you guys ready?
I'm so excited.
Yeah. Woo.
Okay. First game. Disco at the side of the road.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
That's so good. Oh man. Could it
Damn it, I forgot to put a timer on. 1 second.
disco at the side of the road? Oh man.
I'm gonna go for Panic on Wall Street.
Oh!
Byron! Good job! Oh shit, Daddy's slamming on me. 1 second. our dog just got really excited.
We should have recorded this. That would have been viral. Wow.
How's Panic in Wall Street disco?
Panic, disco,
Panic at the Disco, I guess.
and Wall Street. I think they just roadside.
It works, okay?
No, like a wall could be a side, right?
Yeah,
Like-
true.
So that's a point for Byron, right?
Hell yeah.
Yes. 1 point for Byron.
I'm so impressed with you right now, Byron.
Man, that was so good. Good job. Okay, guys. I think you guys are up for a competition today. Okay. So, next one. Driver's card.
Kanban.
No. Driver's card.
What?
Formula Grand Prix.
No.
Driver's card? Ticket to ride.
Yeah.
Ah, that's it.
Oh, that was good.
Oh my god.
Okay.
And good cats.
Third. Ready? Avoid strange pets outside. Avoid strange pets outside.
What in the world?
Yes.
What in the world? Oh my god.
Okay, just so you know, I don't know if I should give you guys a hint.
No.
I keep thinking of Dinosaur Island.
Think of the title of the game. How it could be.
Yeah, no shit. What do you think we're thinking of?
What's that Vladimir Pet game?
Avoid
Strange pets outside.
dungeon pets.
No.
That was
No.
the blood game.
Okay, just so you guys know, fictional beings in some languages that are based on religion maybe and things like that might be interpreted in different ways. Anyways, okay.
Escape
Guys-
from the aliens in outer space.
Yeah. No.
I'm gonna give Ipo 0.5.
Well, then I should get 0.5 too. So,
Okay.
yeah.
No, I was gonna
No.
give. You said you guys yelled it. I don't know. Elias yelled the full name.
Yeah, I stopped yelling when he started.
Okay, I'll give you both 1 point. Elias, you're still in the lead.
Oh,
Okay.
you're so
Hey,
sweet.
hey, I protest.
Okay. Also, yeah. All right. Go ahead. Next.
Okay, next. Number 4. Circuit night.
May I ask how night is spelled?
Like nighttime, day, night.
Oh, circuit night. Grand Prix?
No,
Oh.
it's really weird.
Steampunk Rally?
No,
Dark Moon?
no. Any last guesses before I tell you the answer?
Any hints?
No, that hint was too easy. We shouldn't have got that last one.
No, we don't know.
Okay. Do you want me to leave it and then maybe you'll think of it later?
No, what's the answer?
The answer, you would never have guessed it. One Night Ultimate Werewolf.
Get the fuck out of here.
I don't know how that.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't mind at all that we didn't get that one.
Okay. This one is weird. I don't
They're all weird, Dima.
Yeah, okay. Ready? Ready to guess fast. Camel shade.
Camel up.
Camel shade.
Through the desert?
No.
Camel shade.
It's really weird, this one.
It's not Tagi because you didn't want one word places.
No.
What? Where would camel come from?
This one was a really weird one. Like
Yeah, because
it had nothing to do with anything. Like I don't know.
yeah,
They
in
just
some
changed the
languages,
letters and the
camel
words.
is the same as don't know, dark maybe.
Okay, you guys ready for the answer?
Yeah, give it to
You
us.
guys all know this game
Yeah.
very well.
Catan.
No. Any last
Glory to Rome.
guesses?
No.
No. 3, 2.
Through the Tigris and
One.
Euphrates.
Shadows over Camelot.
Oh!
It was
my
so
God.
weird.
That's-
I don't know why they
we
put
could have done
camel
that,
shade.
Yeah.
Shadows,
Yeah, that's on
shade,
us.
camel,
For Camelot?
Camelot. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just removed the last 2 letters. It was weird. Okay.
Yeah, that's on us.
All right, next one.
Okay, next one. Number 6. Big ice block.
That's
Okay.
so good.
Big ice block.
Ice cool.
No.
Hey, that's my fish.
No.
Northwest Passage.
No.
Oh.
Snowblind.
No.
Panamax.
No.
What?
You're getting close though. Not Panamax.
Big ice block.
Big ice block.
Oh my god.
Russian railroads.
No, Ipa. Big ice. Big ice. Byron's face is killing me. He keeps like raising his eyebrows. And
Greenland?
no.
It's a big ice.
Something to do with skyscrapers?
No. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you. So
Alright.
big ice block is a few acres of snow.
Oh, I should have.
Oh,
I feel so angry at myself right now.
Oh, yes.
I put the easier ones first and they get harder.
Okay, clearly.
Well, please.
Okay, guys, ready?
Yes.
The rage of a reproductive success.
Blood rage.
The rage of a reproductive, like a cycle,
Dominant species.
a ring,
No.
rage of the War of the Ring.
No.
Damn it. The anger of babies. Is that a game?
The rage
Evolution.
of a reproductive success.
Exploding kittens.
Oh, and it's a long sentence, right? It's the rage of a reproductive success. If it's Catan,
Is it something like the birth of a nation? Is there a game like that?
Reproductive success is a character.
Oh.
The Castles of Mad King Burgundy.
No.
Sherlock Holmes.
The rage of a
That's not a game.
reproductive success.
okay, so
The character, so Sherlock.
Okay, time's up, guys.
oh, but yeah, I would imagine.
The fury of Dracula.
Oh, Dracula's a reproductive success. All right,
Apparently.
should have
Because
been able to
they
get
translated it to vampire and then.
that. That's good though. Shit. Okay, next.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
The next one.
Yeah.
The child age.
The what?
Through the
The,
ages.
the child age.
New era.
But you're on the right track. It's something with
Era.
like
Era. Medieval age.
Twilight Struggle.
the child age. Like the modern age, the stone age.
Stone
the
Age.
the child age. No, I'm not going to give you the answer.
Civilization.
I said it right before you.
No, that's not the answer.
Civilization, no.
Stone Age.
No.
The child age.
Deus.
Close. Hot.
Spring. New spring.
Just cut out the thinking. Okay, I'm just going to tell you the answer.
Fuck. Okay.
In the year.
Of the dragon.
Oh,
Yeah.
The dragon.
Shit.
Okay, 2 more, guys. You can do it.
All right.
Okay. Okay.
Fight with society groups.
Euphoria.
Is this War of the Ring?
Yeah.
It had to be like social circle. Like I can't. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, last one, guys.
All right.
Society groups.
Yeah,
The
like social circles. That's what I
Guys,
got.
the last one is hilarious. Okay, celebrity favorites.
Okay, I give up.
Kitchen Rush.
It was already guessed. You guys already guessed it, but it was wrong before.
Blood Rage. Through the Ages. Stone Age.
This is killing me.
Yeah, it's bad.
Era, the medieval ages.
That's all you guessed so far.
No.
Panamax.
No.
Fuck.
After that. He guessed it after.
What the hell did he say after?
I don't pay
Grand
attention to what he
Prix.
says 90% of the time.
Wait, guys.
I think he guessed it during the rage of a reproductive success.
Oh my god.
Blood Rage. Oh,
No.
Evolution.
Dominant species.
Yes!
Oh.
Celebrity favorites. What?
Oh.
Apparently, you're you're dominant if you're a celebrity. Okay, so the winner is Elias with 3 points, Byron in second place with 2 points, and Ipo with 1 point.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Elias!
Back
I guess
to
no
the way
complaints
it
today.
was intended,
Happy
the natural order. As
always
your
second.
dominant species.
As your favorite celebrity.
That's right. I like that favorite is species, which is super weird. Oh.
This win was my gift for your birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday from us.
I have the stats, Ipo.
We know that we're not recording this win for you.
I have the stats, guys. Okay. So
Birthday wins don't count as real wins.
oh man.
And that was the game show of the week, with a little help from Esperanto.
Oh man. There's so much silence I'm gonna have to cut out of that.
Yeah.
Speaking of silence, do you guys notice the absence of silence right now? It's getting louder, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is that? I
Is
can
that
hear.
the new gyros place that's opening downstairs?
Is that an ice cream truck? No, that's not an ice cream
Oh
truck.
my god, we are. Oh my god, it just gets worse and worse.
Guys, you're in Canada. You cannot do these jokes anymore.
It's okay, we're in private in Canada. So. It's time for the Ippokratic Corner.
Welcome to this Ippokratic Corner. And
MashaAllah.
this time, we have the top 3 that everybody was expecting for a long time, all our listeners. The top 3 games best played with 2 players.
Also known as top 3 2-player games. Or you could.
Yes, we had this problem with the definition, right?
Well, I think in the end we said whatever happens, happens, right? Like, if you want to pick a 2-player only game, that's fine. And if you want to pick a game that you only play with 2 players, even though it plays other counts, that's fine too.
Exactly, as long as you feel that the game is best played with 2 players.
Agreed.
As long as you're happy.
Okay, so
I hope you're happy.
So, Elias, it's your birthday. Do you want to go first, last, what?
Well, the thing is, I feel the least confident about this as well. No, I feel super confident about my list. I just know that you 3 specifically are not going to appreciate anything on this list. Just because, in general, not Ipo, but Dima and Byron are haters because they can't beat me at any 2-player games. And
That's not true.
and well,
I can beat you at Star Wars.
Anyway, I'll just go through. I just want to shout out, like, we touched on a lot of games in this episode that are really good at 2, like La Granja and Pax Renaissance. So those are great games at 2 as well. So this sort of fits into the theme of all that. Obviously, Twilight Struggle being a 2-player only game. So this sort of fits into that. And I think those 3 games that we discussed during the banter could also be considered their own sort of top 3 as well. They're all really good with 2. So that being said, my number 3 is A Few Acres of Snow. So
Yay.
Dima hates this game because she didn't realize I was amassing an army outside her capital. And she continued to pick off tiny canoe towns while I was doing that. And
Brian hates this game because Elias said the same thing to him.
Me and Ipo played this game for a while back and forth. We played in person a few times, and then we played on Yukata. I think we played like 4 or 5 on Yukata. And it was really good, like, especially once we started figuring out like how to win with the British, because it's famous for being easier to win with the British using something called the Halifax Hammer. But this being the second edition, I think that gets a lot more hate than it should, because Ipo and I, we didn't look up that solution. And honestly, for the first maybe 4 or 5 games, no one could win with the British. We were just winning with the French constantly. Eventually we won with the British, but it wasn't using a Halifax Hammer. It was sort of just using the point system and grabbing a lot of those smaller towns and stuff. So I think if you just don't look up this supposedly game-breaking strategy, there's a lot of depth to be had. I've played this game well over 12 or 13 times, and I really enjoy it. And I feel like if I'm playing with someone who knows the game, I have a chance of winning either as the British or the French. Although I will say that if you play with a beginner, you're probably going to smash them no matter which side you pick. So keep that in mind. So that's A Few Acres of Snow. It's a Martin Wallace game. It's an awesome deck building mechanic. I love how the board integrates the deck building mechanic. So there's cards you can put in your reserve. There's discard piles and everything. There's just so much happening. There's the ones you commit to the siege and so on. So for me, it's one of my favorites. I adore the theme. I adore the designer. I think it looks lovely. And I love A Few Acres of Snow. So that's
I'm very happy you placed it there, because this was my number 4. Didn't make it to my top 3, so I was really sad it was not there.
Awesome. I'm happy that you at least like it. The other 2, I'm sure, didn't make it within a mile of their top 3 because they suck.
It wasn't even considered.
Okay.
It was Sekigahara.
My number 2 is a game that you 3, again, would probably not put on there, because I've played with you 3 maybe a combined like 16, 17 times, and none of you have ever beaten me. However, I'm not that good at the game. Eric and me win about 50-50%. It's Tashkalar, Arena of Legends. It's
yeah.
a Vladek Vato game. It's one of my favorites. And it's a game it's an abstract game. So you're basically placing down little stones and creating shapes on the board. And when you do, you'll be able to summon creatures, which are cards, which give you like massive effects that change the game. And you're either trying to accomplish tasks, it's called the high form, or you're trying to kill each other, which is called the death match. I personally enjoy the high form a lot more. It plays up to 4, and you can do like everyone against each other, but I don't like that. I like the back and forth. It feels more strategic, more chess-like when it's just 2 players. I have all the factions, so the base game comes with 4 factions, 2 identical in case you want a perfectly even game. And since then, I've also bought 3 more factions. One of them uses like frozen effects, where the cards are not as strong, but you have effects that you freeze and you can thaw later to boost your other effects, which is an awesome thing. Another one of them has this thing which everything centers around this portal to hell, basically. And everything that you do is centered around this portal and the movement of this portal. And the third one does things relating to time. And they're like an ether race. And it's just so much fun. The races that come to board, there's 2 sort of like basic vanilla factions, the northern and the southern. And then you have one that's about like nature, and it's all about movement and large swaths of movement. And there's another one called the Highland, which is basically super strong, but it takes more pieces to summon things than other factions. So there's so much depth in this game, and you sort of learn which factions are good at fighting other factions. And I played this game, I think, over 30 times at this point, and there's no stopping in sight for me. I adore this game. Tashkalar, Arena of Legends.
Yeah, I agree. And there's a lot of replayability. I like that about it.
As you said, it's an abstract game with cards, which is a very strange and interesting combination.
But the more you play, the more you know the decks, right? So now when I play with Eric, because he's played now over 100 times, when I play, he's like one of the highest ranked people on Board Game Arena. We win about 50% of the games, but he plays a lot more than I do. So when like I'm building something, he knows what I'm building. So he'll look at it and be like, oh, this guy's trying to summon this thing. And then he'll try to counter it. Like, I'm not at that level yet, but there's a lot of growth to be had in this game. So check it out if you haven't. I think it gets not as good a reputation as it should have. It's a terrific game. And my number one, if you haven't figured it out by now, is Sekigahara, the unification of Japan. Ippo playing it online doesn't count because literally on our first combat, we couldn't figure out how the system works on Yukata, and we just abandoned it. So your opinion really doesn't count on that one.
It does, yeah, I agree.
Cancelled.
But this game is, to me, like the definition of good design. Like, it's gorgeous pieces, and there's not that much you can do. You can basically move, and there's ways to move farther. And there's cards that don't have any information on them. They just have the little Mon family symbols on them. And you're just trying to combine the cards, and because your card is your hand is always moving and shifting, and you're always discarding down your cards. So you're just trying to get the right army in the right place when you've sort of held on to the right number of cards and got and whittled down your deck and got more of those cards and combined them so that you've like tripled the impact of this one group of 3 or 4 blocks from the same family. There's so much to this game. I remember I played it with Basil, and I was playing the Tokugawa side. So it's about the unification of Japan, where the Tokugawa shogunate, the Tokugawa fought against the emperor or the shogun at the time. No, the emperor at the time, and basically took power and sort of pushed Japan into its modern day growth spurt, right? But that's all not in there. It's just focusing on the combat between Tokugawa and the emperor. And I was at the castle, and I was about to destroy him, and I just played 2 cards in the wrong order. And because of that, I wasn't able to build up enough impact to take out every last piece, which is what I needed to do, because the last piece he had to kill off was the actual like emperor's son or something like that. So just because of that, just because I played those cards in the wrong order, I came out like 1 or 2 impact short. And I was like, oh, no, I just meant to flip those 2. And Basil was like, I mean, you could do that, but you're going to win with an asterisk on your name. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm not going to do that. And I still managed to win the game. Like, when it got to the end of it, I had more control of the board and so on. But that's how delicate this game is, that playing just 2 cards in the wrong order, swapped order, was the difference between winning the game through conquering and taking out the emperor's son, or lasting to the end of the game and winning because I control all the supply points and castles. So it's brilliant. It's absolutely gorgeous. To me, it's one of the best looking games I've ever played. And I just want to play it all the time. Like, if anyone ever comes up to me and goes, would you like to play Sekigahara, which hasn't happened nearly enough, my answer is yes. I want to play Sekigahara right now. So I love the game. It's definitely the best 2-player game ever made. And there you go. Take that with whatever it's worth. So
Thank you. That was, these are really great 2-player games. And let's go with Byron. Byron, what would you say? What is your top 3?
So my top 3, starting at number 3, is also Sekigahara.
Oh, unexpected.
I may have
Wow.
only played it once, but I had a lot of fun micro interactions that I really enjoyed. Like, I'm terrible at war games, especially the 2-player variety, and I know I'm gonna lose. But if the game can still sort of give me some sort of victory on my own, like, oh, I had a really good battle over there, or I took that castle over there.
Yeah.
Those sort of stories to me matter more than just, okay, cool, I won.
I even remember, like, the reason that you lost that game is because you decided to send your general down this massive highway, and I managed to surround you on both sides with armies. And I love that story. Like, the decision of choosing to go down this path means you literally got trapped from both sides by the Tokugawas. And I think that's awesome. I love that natural storytelling that came up in the game without actually having to say anything like that.
No, exactly. Like, you can get it for the pure competition of the game, but you can also have fun while you play it. My number 2 is Innovation by Carl Chadak. It's not everyone's most popular game, but I quite enjoy it. It's really simple to learn. Once you've played one or two games, it flows like you can't believe. And you can get easily 20 games in an hour. That's how fluid the game can be. I like playing it, especially with my one friend Kevin.
I think that might be your favorite game at this point. His favorite designer, sorry, at this point.
Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah. Because Glory to Rome, Red 7, Innovation, yeah.
Yeah, he's done a lot of good things for me. That's why I was disappointed with that other space game that I won't talk about.
Impulse.
And in my number 1 spot, which you guys shouldn't be quite surprised about, is Jaipur.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, yeah, you do love
Haven't
that
played
game.
that.
It has
so
a super low rating, but there's quite a lot of strategy to actually winning a game of Jaipur.
Agreed.
And it's about knowing how many camels you need more than everyone else to win the game.
You mean camels or Camelot? I'm just not sure anymore.
Are you throwing shade?
Camel shade. My favorite thing.
Yeah, that's my top 3.
My favorite thing in that game is one of the camels. You can see like a panda packed under its saddle.
Yeah.
And I think the designer of Jaipur, when he came up with Isfahan, which was themed as a camel, the game kind of went under noticed because at the same time that came out, Zularedo came out, which was super popular. And Zularedo's icon is a panda. So they threw shade at that by having a dead panda under the saddle of one of the camels, which is hilarious. So.
That's a great top 3, Byron. And I haven't played Jaipur, neither Innovation. So I need to play these games.
So how would you know that's a great top 3, Ipo?
Because I like the way he described the games and his excitement in his eyes that our listeners cannot see.
It's true. I was staring at Ippo the whole time.
Okay, let's hope that Dima has some games that I know.
Okay, so my number 3 is Mage Knight.
Wow.
I love playing Mage Knight weekend afternoons. I love playing it 2-player. I played it 3-player once. And I didn't like it as much. It takes longer. And I just like the adventure aspect of the game. Building your deck, fighting creatures, beating the dragons that I can actually never beat. And I just wait for Elias to beat them so I can go through.
Oh, yeah. We tend to play co-op when we play it too because...
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can play the game co-op or competitive. And Dima, for the same reason that you don't like to play it at 3, I don't like to play it at 2 because it's faster with 1. That's why I prefer it. So, yeah, go ahead.
So I recommend it at 2. Elias recommends it at 1. And my number 2 is La Granja. I'm not going to say anything about it. We just talked about it.
Nice.
And my number 1 is Targi.
Nice.
I love Targi.
Yes.
I can play it any time of the day, even when I'm at work.
I'm surprised it didn't make Byron's list, honestly.
And
It was in my top 5.
Okay.
I don't know if I should talk about the game, but it's basically card collection. Like you get the resources and pay for cards and
It's
build
a tableau
like
building game.
tableau building. It's a 4x3 tableau that you need to build. First one to put together 12 cards ends the game, and then you count points. So it's a lot of fun. It's super interactive.
All the
and
things
quick.
to describe in Targi, that would be the last thing I would describe. That's the least fun part about Targi.
Because I think I
is
described
building
it
a
like 2 episodes ago.
I know, but like it's a game where you place your guys, like there's a grid of actions and you place your targets on the borders, but then wherever your targets intersect in the middle, you also get that action. So that's the brilliance in Targi, not the 4x3 grid of stuff you put in front of you. Like,
Also, it's one of the few two-player games that I can actually beat Elias in.
you definitely give me much more than I do.
So I'm pretty sure that has an impact on why it's in my top 3. And that's my top 3. Ipo, on to you. Just want to kindly remind you that it's only 3 games, not 52.
It's only 3, and it's funny, guys, that each one of us has a different top 3. I think the only overlapping was Sekigahara right now.
Yes.
So far, right?
Yes.
Okay, so my number 3 is Twilight Struggle. As Dima said before,
Recency bias.
It is there, yeah. I'm gonna say this. It's there because, as I said before, Twilight Struggle pushed out of my top 3 The Few Acres of Snow, which is an amazing game.
Oh, wow.
Martin Wallace is going to be so pissed off at you when he hears this.
No, Martin is my friend.
First,
he's gonna be.
And he's friends with AK.
Exactly. First, AK disrespected him by taking a selfie with the Lincoln poster instead of him, and now you're disrespecting him by taking an inferior game and putting it ahead of his. So
I think he will be okay with Twilight Struggle.
I think you should go to the corner and think about what you've done.
I don't know if he's gonna be okay with my number 2 game, which is Seventh Continent.
Oh boy.
For me, the best count for Seventh Continent is 2 players. And for the people that they don't know Seventh Continent, it's an exploration adventure cooperative game. You lay down the map, you explore the map. Its card gives you some more information of this 7th continent that you're trying to explore. And if you lay down the whole deck of cards, it's gonna be like your whole room. So it's really a huge continent that takes place and reveals itself in front of you. It's an amazing feeling. I love it's the only game that gives me really the feeling of adventure and exploration. I know there are so many exploration games, but I don't feel exploration in any other game.
No, I agree.
Well,
it's there.
Yeah.
It's
huge. But I feel like you didn't pick the best 2-player game. There, I feel like you picked the best couple game for you and Lena. Like, I don't think it's a 2-player game that I would come over to play with you, right? Like, I don't know, like, because I think I know your number 1, and I think it follows the same logic, correct? That you played it. Oh, it's not Pandemic Legacy.
No.
Okay.
You don't know my number 1.
Wow. All right.
Wow.
I was thinking what you said. You have a point that because I was thinking about Dead of Winter. Dead of Winter was an amazing experience for me, Lena, but it's not best for 2-player. I cannot say it's best with 2 players.
Okay.
So, and also Pandemic Legacy, the same thing.
That's interesting.
So it's not there.
Okay. Well.
So my number 1 2-player game is Wir sind das Volk.
No fucking way, Paul.
We are the people.
You put Twilight Struggle twice on the same list?
Exactly. So Twilight Struggle, when it grows up, it will be Wir sind das Volk. Because the main difference between these 2 games is it's again Cold War. Okay, it's again alternative actions and area control and all these things. But the great thing about this game is that there's no dice. That doesn't make the difference.
Yes.
And it's a game designed by Richard Sivell and Pierre Sylvester. And Richard Sivell is the guy that designed also Maria.
Yes.
Maria is one of the best 3-player games, like
agreed.
Designed for 3 players. So this is designed for 2 players. It's excellent. I have played with
the 2+2 expansion.
online.
It's actually 4. It's 2 versus 2.
But we never played that. So
no, we didn't.
I cannot say.
Yeah.
It's one more game that I have only played online. And
we played it in person at my house.
Did we?
Yeah, man.
I think we never we never finished.
No, we finished it. Yeah.
So I'm really old, so cannot really remember these early days.
I always found the game to be janky. Like there's a lot of phases in the game, and it's super hard to keep track of when things are going to happen. So because of that, I don't know. I always felt like it was a bit janky. Like I didn't dislike it, but like it would be.
I want to say it's not a game for everybody.
And I traded it for Pax Premier, which is a win in my book. So, yeah.
So no hard feelings.
No hard feelings at all. So, yeah.
With this one. Okay, so that was my top 3.
I'm so surprised. I mean, I thought if it made anything, maybe you're number 3. Like,
I'm so happy that we came up with 12 great games, I believe, even if I don't know these 2 by
11. 11.
Even our listeners could have great ideas. So, guys, please let us know what your top 3 would be on our Twitter account at TT Sessions QA or over at our BGG Guild.
They don't have good ideas. That's why they listen to us, okay?
Also, if any of our listeners are excited about the 2-player games and want to challenge Elias at them, his Board Game Arena account name will be listed in the episode description as well. Please challenge him on all of these games and please beat him.
Board Game. I wanted to say Board Game Arena is such a good name to host a game like Taskalar.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah. No, Eric and me, we have a nice competition back and forth. So, I just don't like playing with strangers. But you know what? Listeners are family, so they're not strangers.
Exactly.
Exactly.
All right,
so
guys.
Thank you, guys.
This was a bit of a long episode, but this brings us to the end of this tabletop session. Thank you so much for listening. Please check our very active Instagram account at Tabletop Sessions. You can reach us through Twitter at TT Sessions QA or join the conversation over at our Board Game Geek Guild. And you can find the link to all of these in the episode description. Please rate us on iTunes and Apple Podcasts or rate us through your Android podcast app of choice. This helps us so much. And we recently had a couple more 5-star ratings and it really helped boost the podcast. Like, it's the best thing you can do to help support us. And I cannot tell you how much we appreciate you just taking the 30 seconds it would take to go rate the podcast and give us your feedback. We'll be back in 3 weeks. And until then, live from Toronto, Canada, for the first time on Tabletop Sessions, quoting one of his favorite writers, God damn it, you've got to be kind. Say bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, eh? Is that what they say here? Bye, eh?
Dubai, eh?
I'm trying to be Canadian. I learned Canadian already.
Sure, that was quick.
Tabletop. Tabletop. Session.